Yeah, and I had to hold
Yeah.
You know, like that would be so.
Since last year, why?
It's a smart idea. I don't like it, but it's a smart idea.
I can tell your face. I've seen you, I can tell.
All right.
I've got an extra record in them and doesn't reiterate what he said.
They got one of their
All right. We're going to go ahead and get started this evening. Board of Trustees meeting for the St. Charles City County Library. We'll start with pledge allegiance.
Yep.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll go ahead and do roll call, please.
Trustee Zucker?
Here.
Trustee Harden?
Here.
Trustee Gardner?
Here.
Trustee Giordano? Here. Trustee Collier?
Here.
Trustee Seats?
Here.
Trustee Hanky? Here. Trustee Montronac?
Here.
Trustee Hazelwood?
Thank you. The first item we have for work session, Zach's out sick today. We entertain a motion to table this until the April meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yes, we're to have it. You guys do have it. In order to use our time wisely, we are going to go ahead and go into closed session before our regular meeting starts at 7 p.m. tonight. Can I entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to state statute RSMO 610.021, section 2 real estate, section 3 personnel, and section 13 personnel.
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? We have a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Zucker?
Aye.
Trustee Harden?
Aye.
Trustee Gardner?
Aye.
Trustee Giordano? Aye. Trustee Collier?
Aye.
Trustee Seeds?
Aye.
Trustee Hanky?
Aye.
Trustee Montronac?
Aye.
Trustee Hazelwood?
All right. We will retire to a conference room, so you guys don't have to leave the room and come back in, and we will be back when we complete for the regular meeting.
All right. See you then.
Somebody said that.
All right, everybody, thank you for waiting. Apologize, we were a little late there. We'll go ahead and get started with the regular meeting. The first item on the agenda is public comments. Just for everybody's awareness, we have board rules that public comment period is 30 minutes long. Each speaker gets 3 minutes. If you have comments that are similar to your neighbor that just spoke, in order to get more speakers to speak, it might be easier to just say ditto, I agree, or I agree with the comments previously said.
Or extend it.
That's also that's also a possibility. The board can choose to vote to extend the time limit. At this moment, I will entertain a motion to extend the time period.
Don't all rush.
Hearing none, we'll go ahead and get started. The first speaker tonight is Arnie Dienoff.
Is there a microphone or is this the microphone?
Microphones are in the ceiling that are green.
Try
But
to
you can use that as well.
Can anybody hear me?
No.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Try to speak up. Thank you very much, members of the Board of Trustees. My name is Arnie A.C. Dienoff, District Public Advocate. I'm also the public advocate at the city and county level and state level also. I've been talking to you for a number of times about giving away tax abatements, giving away a lot of corporate, what I call and consider corporate welfare. On the agenda tonight are 4 different giving away of corporate welfare to companies that in my opinion don't deserve it. They're wealthy companies, they've done well for themselves in the hotel business, in the sporting business. I don't believe that they deserve to have low interest rates for industrial revenue bonds. I want to address each one of them individually. The first one is the First Capital Place, which is at 5th Street and Jackson Street in downtown St. Charles, or actually Frenchtown. And it has to do with industrial revenue bonds in the amount of $34 million at low interest rate. What is very concerning is they're not giving a lot to the table. As you all know, emergency services, ambulance districts, fire protection districts are exempt from tax abatements, and they have to pay pilot payments in lieu of paying taxes. But this First Capital Place deal wants to, for the first 5 years, have 100% tax abatement, which means our library district gets absolutely $0 with our growing population and our growing county. Especially our growing county is down on Missouri Highway N. 6 to 10 years, it's 50%, and 11 to 20 years, it's 25%. The next issue on your agenda is the O'Fallon Playfield Commons LLC in O'Fallon, which I greatly opposed because that is owned by a billionaire, literally, who owns Applebee's, and I'm talking about over 100 Applebee's. He owns a Pancake House franchise and numerous hotels. He is a billionaire, and he is asking for $24 million in industrial revenue bonds. And it's gonna be zero revenue to our district through 2038, and he wants sales tax exemption. Wants to create 2 additional sales tax districts, a transportation development district and a community improvement district to the tune of 2% more on top of the 7.8% tax rate. Then we have 1150 Technology LLC, which wants 58,000 square foot hotel. It's the same owner that owns the Playfield Commons for $9 million in industrial revenue bonds. And through 2038, we're gonna get a mere $2,760 in taxes. And over the period of time, we're gonna get that's per year, $55,034. And then Veterans Memorial Parkway, #1 LLC, 109,000 square foot, 167 room hotel. Same owner, and I'll
Wrap up, please.
$20 million in bonds. We're gonna only get $84,000 through 2038. I ask you to adamantly oppose these projects because they need to pay for them on their own dime.
Thank you for your comments.
What does that
Thank
do
you
to
for your
library?
comments, Next up is Laura Marie Snicky. And then after that is Teresa
Linsnick. Linsnick.
Linsnick.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you in advance for listening and taking the following into consideration. My goal in speaking this evening is simple, to hope to find common ground and promote understanding from both sides of the aisle.
The mic closer.
I ask that no matter what your position is, to please practice respect and decorum. Ever since the news broke regarding the removal of flags and other decor, people have been on high alert. This is obviously a hot button issue. I have spent the last 2 weeks researching, reflecting, and writing in order to present my thoughts logically in the hopes that even one person may benefit from my speech. I plan to take the additional information I have gathered this evening and do more research, reflection, and writing, and return to the next board meeting to speak. I aim to never be complacent in my pursuit of knowledge, and I challenge each of you to do the same. The main objective of a library is to disseminate information in a factual and unbiased manner. That has been the case since the 7th century BC. In order to do so effectively and fairly, library workers must present themselves as neutral parties. Impartiality is not recommended nor required in many workplaces, but the library is one of those places that must remain impartial. If not, the entire framework of what a library is will crack and eventually collapse. Personal beliefs, no matter what belief, do not have a place in the library. One example is abortion. Whether you are pro-life or pro-choice, I would hope you agree that it would be out of line to wear a t-shirt supporting either position if you work in a library. Libraries and their employees must remain impartial and present impartially when at their place of work. According to the article in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Library Director John Greifsue said that the move is part of a push to make the library welcoming to everyone. The article continues to state that employees were reminded that workplace displays should not promote personal beliefs, social agendas, political affiliations, advocacy positions, social positions, or personal identity expression. The board is upholding their Code of Ethics policy, which has been in place since 1991. This is not a new policy nor a novel idea. I have heard opponents say that the pride flag is a quiet symbol of inclusion, which means that you are welcomed here. I encourage everyone to recognize that the absence of something does not mean the opposite is true. Library Director John Greifsue was wearing a blue shirt this evening. I spoke to him and did not compliment him on his shirt. That does not mean I think he looks bad. Just because there is no pride flag does not mean that the people who fall under the umbrella of what the flag represents are not welcome. Will a company who does not display a Black Lives Matter banner be unwelcoming to blacks? Of course not. Once again, the absence of something does not mean the opposite is true. There is a famous bar in St. Louis called the Amsterdam Tavern. It is well known for showing soccer matches and is popular with people who follow soccer. The people who frequent there know that they will always be welcome to discuss and watch soccer. I do not follow soccer, yet I have been there several times and I have never been made to feel uncomfortable or like I do not belong. Another statement of opponents is that the flag signifies safety. Library employees operate with the highest degree of professionalism. I frequent the library and research both sides of very controversial issues and many times have had to ask a library employee for assistance. Never in the decades I have been doing this have I been made to feel uncomfortable no matter what side and what position I am attempting to research. I encourage all of you here to recollect the recent Olympics. One Ukrainian athlete was banned because he refused to remove his helmet, which depicted famous Ukrainians who have been killed in the war. While this action of banning was upsetting to many, it was a policy of the Olympic Committee. The Olympics are not a political arena. The banning was standard of professionalism that was upheld. We watch the Olympics to marvel at the skills of the top athletes in the world. We do not watch the Olympics to satisfy our positions on various issues. Many of you probably think the above statement was quite callous. Quite the contrary, I am very proud Ukrainian American. However, for the pursuit of knowledge, I must remain impartial. Policies exist for a reason. The board is upholding their code of ethics and they should be commended for their professionalism that I believe they must continue to uphold for the reasons I have stated above, namely for what purpose the library serves. Once again, just because you do not have a pin on does not mean you are not a safe person. The absence of something does not mean the opposite is true. Support John Greifsue's quote. Our position is that we are not here to advocate, but to create an impartial environment. Neutral and promoting an impartial environment are some of the traits that library employees need. He continues, our goal is in the purpose of everyone that comes in. And we create this environment where everyone feels free to learn, and learn. As a former employee, it is imperative that the library district remain neutral and impartial in order to uphold the library's mission. Who's next? The article has left many people with more questions than answers, and I believe the board should have prepared a thorough written response to the public to be released at the same time.
Thank you.
I do urge the board to listen carefully carefully to all comments and to carefully craft a response addressing all concerns. That is how to squash misunderstanding and find common ground. Thank you.
Why did you do that?
Next speaker, Teresa.
Thank God for the First Amendment.
ChatGPT is a hell of a drug.
ChatGPT is a total.
Said she was advocating for policies and breaking a policy once.
Yes.
My name is Teresa Linsnick. I live in St. Charles and use Catherine Linneman Library. I asked Grok, is it unconstitutional to have a public library policy that prohibits LGBTQ flags and religious crosses from employees' workspaces? Grok replied, no, a neutral workspace policy like this in a public library is not clearly unconstitutional. And in many cases, it is likely constitutional, as long as it is applied even-handedly, without favoring or disfavoring specific viewpoints. Public libraries are government entities, so their policies must comply with the First Amendment, free speech and free exercise of religion clauses. However, public employees have more limited speech rights in the workplace than public citizens do, because the government has stronger interest in managing its own operations. Key legal framework, the Supreme Court uses the Pickering-Connick balancing test for public employee speech. First, determine if the speech or display is on a matter of public concern. If yes, courts balance the employee's free speech, religious expression interest against the government's interest in effective operations, workplace harmony, avoiding disruption, or maintaining public perception of neutrality. For nonverbal displays, flags, icons, stickers on desks, especially in employee workspaces, courts generally give government that are not public-facing areas, courts generally give government employees wide latitude to impose reasonable viewpoint neutral restrictions. A blanket ban on personal advocacy items, including political, social, religious, or identity-related symbols, is typically seen as reasonable to promote a professional, impartial environment. So that's when they're banned from the workspace. Avoid any appearance that the library endorses particular viewpoints important for a public institution serving diverse patrons. And prevent potential disruption or perception bias in service. Viewpoint neutrality is critical. If the policy bans all such displays and is enforced consistently, it is viewpoint neutral and likely survives First Amendment scrutiny. Bottom line, a consistently applied broad neutral workspace policy banning LGBT flags and religious icons, along with other personal advocacy items on employee desk, is probably constitutional. It serves legitimate government interest without targeting specific viewpoints.
Thank you for your comments.
I support neutral policy.
Thank you. The next speaker is Jenny Hickerson, and followed by Jessica Devoto.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Jenny Hickerson. I am transgender. I am also a veteran of the United States Army, 22 years. I retired from the military. I served in combat. My question to you, I think there's a lot of people who are going to talk about the messages of the culture wars. I get it. I'm a recovering Baptist. I get it. I was brought up in that bubble. But the thing is what this addresses is really leadership. It's leadership. I was a battalion commander in the military. I served as a male. But I was a battalion commander and a task force commander in southern Afghanistan. And one of the things that I had to do is I had to mitigate problems. You have a problem right now as a board. And I've not seen anything that you're doing to mitigate it. Now, I will compliment the gentleman here. He and I had a long discussion before the meeting today, and we talked about mitigating issues. And mitigating those issues, we're dealing with an article. We're dealing with culture war rumors. We're dealing with innuendos. We're dealing with all kinds of things. But yet, we've not heard any words from y'all. We've all come here from our homes with concerns. But you guys are leaders. But we've not heard any words from y'all. The library is a safe place. I remember as a young kid, my mom, I didn't want to go shopping with my mom. So my mom brought me to the library. And that was back in the late 70s. I'm old. And back in the 70s, the library was like a place where I could just go and I could travel to Europe. I could go and look, I could do a lot of things. It was a safe place. And as long as I acted right, because I lived in a small town, the librarian, if I misbehaved, she's gonna tell my mama. But the thing is it was a safe place for a young kid like me. I think you want the same thing. We want common things. Now, when we talk about things like wearing a rainbow or wearing a pride pin, I get uniforms. I was in the military. I get those things. But the deal is, and I also get Christian values. Like I said, I'm a recovering Baptist. But part of Christian values is empathy. Empathy. Empathy for other people, loving others as Jesus loved us. I just need 10 more seconds.
Go ahead.
Loving Jesus as Jesus loved us, because if people get to wear those pins, it tells people, hey, I'm a safe person.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm safe. This is not a political issue, but for that 13-year-old kid who's thought about committing suicide.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
Preach.
And they can go and talk to somebody and they can go and say, can I have some help? They know that they have no fear of judgment. I want you to think about those things. This is a leadership issue, and I'm imploring you to please think about that without judgment and without your agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
After Jessica, we have Elizabeth Malta.
Good evening, board members. My name is Jessica Devoto, and I'm a resident of St. Charles County. I'm here tonight because I'm deeply concerned about the recent decision to prohibit library staff from wearing pro-LGBTQ symbols, including something as simple and widely recognized as a rainbow. Libraries are about more than just books. They're spaces for learning, curiosity, and belonging. For many people, especially young people, the library is one of the few places where they can feel safe, welcomed, and seen. A rainbow pin or emblem is not political speech in the way it's being framed. It's the same principle as wearing a cross necklace. More importantly, it's a quiet symbol of inclusion, a light in the darkness.
Yes.
Not only does it say, you're welcome here, but also, you're safe with me. I'm a safe person. I can be your refuge. Taking that away sends the opposite message, whether that was the intent or not. We trust librarians every day to help our children learn, explore ideas, and navigate information responsibly. It's hard to understand why we wouldn't also trust them to express basic compassion and inclusivity in a way that harms no one. Policies like this don't create neutrality, they create absence. And in that absence, people notice who is not being acknowledged.
Yep.
I implore the board to reconsider this decision. Support your librarians, trust their professionalism, and most importantly, ensure that every member of this community, regardless of who they are, feels safe and welcome in their public library. Thank you.
Thank you. After Elizabeth is Naria? Naraya, sorry.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me all right? Thank you. Okay, so I had a good discussion with John
Use
today.
the mic for the people in the other room.
Yeah, sorry. I had
It's on.
Is it on? Okay.
Just has to be close to your mouth.
I had a good conversation with John, the CEO of the board, or CEO of the library and member of the board tonight. We are being told that this is a misunderstanding on the part of the media, and we are hoping that this is true. We are hoping also that you do hear us in terms of respecting your staff, respecting their ability to be themselves, to be open, not only in the workplace, but also to tell people that they are someone safe that the community can talk to, that can be respected. They went to school. They are educated people. They are educated individuals. They are not hurting anyone with displays of flags. They're not, I will say this, you guys have a safe space placard on each of your libraries. Children, members of our community need to be able to feel safe walking into those libraries, talking to the librarians, and I know you are saying you want this to be a neutral space. I understand the need for neutrality, the need to look professional. Someone having something at their desk should not be such an issue that you need to discipline someone, that you need to remove someone, fire them. That should not be an issue to the point that that happens to someone. Your librarians matter. Their employment matters. You have a passionate community. You have a community that wants this to be a second home for their families. You have employees that want to feel safe working for your libraries. They are coming in every day and putting hours into this library, into caring for your community, into talking to people that none of you will ever speak with. They are talking to your homeless community. They are talking to students coming in who may be facing dangerous situations at home. They are helping veterans such as myself to access resources. They're helping people access RECA who need those services, who need to know. They are helping people access passports and notary services, and they deserve to be respected in their workplace. You guys are asking for money when taxpayers want staff to be okay in their workplace. You are asking for money when you aren't communicating with your staff to make sure they feel respected by you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time this evening. I really hope you consider what every single person in this room has to say because it's important. Be open, communicate with your staff, communicate with your community. Thank you.
Thank you. After Naraya is Dr. Kyle Coble. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Naraya. This is my first time ever public speaking, so bear with me.
We got you. You got this.
You got this.
You got it. I'm a resident here in St. Charles. I actually just moved here 2 years ago from Texas, so you guys can probably understand what I've been through in Texas. But unfortunately, I don't believe that we're entirely here today because of a flag. I think the reason why we're here today is because certain staff members hold prejudices. They think that because they hold power, that they can use their personal beliefs and hatred to get rid of people that they don't agree with. And that's not okay either, I would think. I believe that everyone here has a right to express themselves, so long as it's not rooted in hate. People having a pride flag or their favorite hockey team isn't hurting anyone, except the pride of the prejudiced library staff and patrons, of course. A library staff's desk should be safe from scrutiny and reprimand from fellow staff. It's their personal workspace, and it does not determine whether or not someone can fulfill their job. Be welcoming to all is appreciate all of their differences, no matter their beliefs, sexuality, race, or ethnicity. LGBTQ programs and cultural or religious programs, such as for the Arabic people in our community, like myself, or the Christian community, the Jewish community, which I'm also Jewish, these will not disappear. These things aren't being forced because they're just opportunities for people to meet others like them or to meet other people that are different than them. library is meant to be a safe space for everyone. Hatred doesn't belong in our city and does not belong in our hearts. Thank you.
Does not belong.
After Dr. Coble is August Murek.
Hello, and thank you for,
Yes.
thank you again for hearing all of us. I appreciate that. So we moved here a couple years ago. I moved here for work, and we moved here from St. Louis County. And one of the, my kid made this for me, so I'm very proud of it. I wear it every day. And all three of my kids are part of the LGBTQ community. I remember very fondly going to library events in the county, in St. Louis County, one of which we actually made this Proud Dad button. The library staff helped us. It was a Pride-themed event in June, and I can't tell you how happy and included my kids felt when I was able to put that on. That just meant so much to me. And listen, I am not a member of any marginalized group. I am a white, male, cisgender, heterosexual, Christian. I don't belong to any marginalized group. But my kids do, and it matters. And it matters for everyone who belongs to a marginalized group to see themselves included and to see themselves represented. When we first moved to St. Charles County, going in to a library, because my kids love the library, it matters so much to them. And to go into some of the local branches after school, you know, it felt like it made the moving transition easier, just to be connected with the community and the wonderful library system that we have. And to have staff members who were expressing that identity made a big difference for my kids. And made a big difference in them thinking, gosh, you know, St. Charles isn't that scary and isn't that bad. I can see someone who looks like an older version of me. And it scares me to think that we might be moving in a different direction where people that I care about aren't feeling like they're okay to be somewhere. So please consider this policy. I know it's an older policy, but I would like to see it, for my own sake and for the sake of everyone who matters, who this really matters to, that it be reconsidered. Thank you for your time.
After August is Bethany Mann.
Yes. Officer, would you mind handing these out for me, just to the board members? I'm sure they already have a copy, but just in case. So my function here, as much as I appreciate everyone's sentiment and agree with it, I'm here on a specific fiduciary duty. I'm a taxpayer, and if you move forward in support of ES 050, Code of Conduct Policy as it sits today, you will get sued and you will lose. And so as taxpayer, I don't want to see you lose money. This policy, it is illegal from both a federal and a state level. So the reason you're going to lose is the pretext that this is neutral. You will lose on the pretext of pretextual discrimination. So this was a 1991 policy that is only recently being enforced against LGBTQ people. The pretext of neutrality is in McDonnell Douglas, 1973. Why are we just now enforcing this for LGBTQ people? Do you have any documentation, any internal documentation that says that? That's the smoking gun. If you say you got a complaint about one person, that's what you're gonna lose in court. Also, Rees versus Sanderson Plumbing, 2000. If you say that this happened for any other reason or neutrality, you're gonna lose in court. Point 2, identity, LGBTQ plus people is an identity. It's not a personal belief. It's a protects it. The 14th Amendment, Lampley versus MCHR, which is the Human Rights Council, protects it for Missouri. So on the federal and the state level, it's protected. So if you say that it's a personal belief, it's something else, you're gonna lose in the state, you're gonna lose at the federal level. You're gonna lose if you say it's a personal belief. It's not a blue thin line, it's not Black Lives Matter, although we support that too, but it is an identity. So if you're gonna let people wear the wedding ring, which is a religious identity, you gotta let them have the identity marker, which for us is, hold them up, it's a pride flag. There you go. It's an identity marker. You're gonna lose on that. Private expression. If you say the government has an interest, as you did, I forget where, as you did, it's right here, Kennedy versus Bremerton, you can't hold people down and suppress their identity in the workplace. It's also, you can't, heckler's law, the heckler's veto, Tinker versus Des Moines, you can't let one person's objection or a group of people object to someone's identity. There it is again. What a stickler. You can't make people invisible. Neutrality does not equal erasure. Point 4, the social belief admission. Now you guys are thinking, didn't that cake shop thing say I don't have to acknowledge things I don't like? Ironically enough, it said that you can't be hostile towards a person's status. Identity again, there it is. Thank you.
After Bethany is Devin, and that might be our last speaker depending on how long we go. Go ahead, Bethany.
Thank you all for being here, and thank you, board, for your time. To the Board of Trustees and the CEO, Greitsview. My name is Bethany Mann. I am here today just not as a patron, but as a taxpayer who is concerned about the massive legal and financial liability this board is inviting upon our community. This is the opposite of fiscal responsibility and good stewardship. By reinstating a ban that has not been enforced for many years, or implementing a ban that specifically targets pride pins, articles of expression, and art following a single patron complaint, you have moved from neutrality into the territory of unconstitutional viewpoint discrimination. The Supreme Court in Tinker versus Des Moines ruled the government cannot silence an individual because patrons and other staff are offended or uncomfortable. International law recognizes these actions as arbitrary interference in Article 12 of the Human Rights Charter, and it is affirmed by our country and our NATO's and allies in NATO. You need to understand the 3 specific legal fronts which you are now legally vulnerable. 1, federal liability of the First Amendment. While you claim this is a neutral policy, the law looks at intent. Under Mattel versus Tam, the Supreme Court is clear. The government cannot silence speech simply because it finds the idea offensive or controversial. By admitting this change was sparked by a complaint against a specific identity, you have created pretext. The risk is in Section 18, and the A section of the 1983 Civil Rights Lawsuit, if a judge finds that you acted with reckless indifference to constitutional rights, qualified immunity may not protect you. In regards to employment liability, Title VII and the Bostock precedent. In Bostock versus Clayton County, the Supreme Court ruled that discrimination based on sexual orientation is sex discrimination. If you allow an employee to wear a Cardinals pin but threaten an LGBTQ employee with disciplinary action for a pride pin, you are selectively enforcing a dress code based on a protected class. The risk is costly EEOC complaints in a workplace discrimination lawsuit that the library, and by extension us taxpayers, will have to fund. Number 3, personal responsibility and liability of board members. The Missouri Revised Statute, Section 182.640, states that no library regulation shall be contrary to or inconsistent with any provision of law. As board members, you have a fiduciary duty to protect the institution's budget. Using taxpayer funds to defend a policy that your own legal counsel likely warned was a high-risk move is a breach of that duty. The bottom line is this is not neutrality. True neutrality is with a library that is open to all viewpoints. What you have created here is a legal target. You are gambling with our tax dollars simply to satisfy a heckler's veto from one individual. And to all of the staff and patrons who are a part of the LGBT community, your identity is not a political statement or a controversial subject to be debated. It is a fundamental human right.
Thank you.
The library that is a library that has failed its mission of universal service. You belong here exactly as you are, and no policy can erase your dignity or your right to exist in a public space.
Thank you. All right, final speaker, because we're at 29 minutes, 46 seconds right now, is Devin.
That's a lot of pressure.
You get 3 minutes regardless, okay, not 15 seconds.
Bear with me, I'm not a public speaker. Whew, I'm just a mom. I'm a mom who lives at the library. I have little kids, and our library is Catherine Linneman. That's been our library since my children were born. Those are their librarians that they love and know, they feel safe with and ask questions, and I feel safe with. I get to talk to them, we get to know them. I bring new moms in and we go to baby time and story time. They've been part of our family and our community since we've lived here, and they're gone now. They're gone. All of them are gone. The ones that my children grew up with. 4 librarians of Catherine Linneman have been transferred or fired in the last 6 months or less. That's a problem for me because it's a problem for my kids. I'm the mom of a neurodivergent kid. Libraries mean a lot. That's a place where she's safe. That's a place where we can go and have meetings and talk about things like the Underground Railroad with your wonderful speakers, with their mom going on about native plants. And we can have TED Talks on crazy, far out things and make sure that everyone gets heard and everyone is loved and safe. So when we went back to the library and our librarians were gone and I started asking around, I said, where's Miss Kristen? Where's Miss Frizzle, y'all?
Yeah.
Where's our kilted librarian? Did you guys think that we didn't know that you took our kilted librarian? And then where's Danny? They are all gone. I had to go find out what happened. I said, where are our friends? What's going on? And everyone is very quiet and it's somber and there's something wrong here. It's bleak. This isn't about culture wars. It's about a community that's been built over decades by people who serve us, who support us. And now it's time for us to come and support them.
Yes.
I know for a fact because I saw the pictures and I asked everybody that the flag that we're all talking about was in private office quarters behind doors. This is not a pin that someone wore, although they should be able to, as we heard from many people. This is something that was a personal identity, not a belief, that was behind closed doors. And that was supported through 3 different librarians over 5 years or longer. They don't even remember how long it's been since they passed the flag on to the next librarian. Because those people love and care about each other and support each other behind those closed doors. And we're there to support them out in public. I have never seen anybody with a big gay pride flag. Not that it would upset me because again, Teresa, everyone's able to put their identity out and we have to be respectful. But they haven't done that. They're just existing as themselves. And that should be enough for us to support them. I'm here for the librarians. I want them back. And we're not going into this good night quietly. Thank you.
Conclude the public comment portion.
We're really not gonna extend it.
Yeah, I mean, really, I
17 minutes late.
Talk, I should get to talk.
The board has not entertained a motion to extend the time.
Because the board has to
Fuck all of you.
make the motion here. I'm done. Just so you know,
I've given thousands of dollars to this library foundation in the name of freedom.
Yeah, and I'm
I'm
with
out.
the foundation because I'm not gonna sit here and be okay with what you guys are doing to these librarians and to our community. I am sick and tired of sitting here. I've been to every library, every meeting for the last almost 4 years.
Let her talk.
And you're not gonna let us talk? I'm done. No, I am so sick of you guys. And you know something, John?
You can't even
You
turn around.
shake everybody's ass.
Turn around and face her.
Oh, you're gonna look at us?
Anything.
Bethany
I'm so
listen.
sick of it.
Shame on you.
The next item is reports and correspondence from the chief financial officer.
So disrespectful. What a joke.
Shame! 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 Shame!
Julie?
Is this the legacy you wanna leave? Is this the side of history you wanna be on?
Do you know the librarians, how they feel? Do you understand the mental health struggles? Do you know that they have to take time off?
How many people on the list?
You should limit to 10
They're
slots
afraid
if
to
that's all
lose
the
their
slots
jobs,
are.
is that okay?
Thank you.
Everybody, just real quick, if you're disrupting the meeting, you're gonna be asked to leave, okay? So please let them carry on.
Oh, gee,
Oh,
sorry,
throw us out of the
yeah.
meeting you won't let us talk at. Wow.
Any information you would like to provide?
Right.
Hi, everybody, stay tuned. This is good to see you.
We've concluded February.
I'll stay at the very end. Yeah, definitely. I'll wait for you outside.
One day they'll let Miss Kristen come back.
Shame on you! Boo! Shame on you! Shame! Shame on you! Shame on you!
You're still gonna get sued, so.
As they sit there with their smirks on their faces. Yeah, y'all were 17 minutes late.
Why even be on the board of the library?
So we're over slightly in the electrical area as well.
We're over slightly. Oh,
Monitoring that.
no.
As far as our capital projects, we do have a few that are outstanding currently. The Culver Parkway roof, we've got audiovisual systems at Deer Run, Kisker, and McClay, and some other items. So you'll see those capital expenses increase from March and April.
Zero conscience.
They don't.
Yeah, this is still public, right? So why can't we hear you?
Because you won't be quiet.
We're all sitting here. You're talking quietly around the table so no one can hear you.
Also, why did the first people to sign up to comment go last, but the people in opposition went first?
Everybody, we're trying to hold a meeting here. I've asked you once nicely, please, can we just get on with this meeting?
I don't, how can we hear the meeting?
Get the microphone fixed, that would be helpful.
We wanna hear the discussion.
Yeah, I wanna know what these people are talking
Okay.
about.
The only other item that I wanted to talk about
If they represent, I need to hear.
was the, there's an audit RFP that's outstanding, and that will be due back on March 30th. So for the next meeting cycle, that's I'll be touching base as far as selecting the auditor. So I just wanted to let you know that it's outstanding and it's coming up. Yep.
Any comments from the board on the chief financial officer's report? Seeing none, we'll go to the executive team report to the board.
So some of the things I want to point out, we're getting ready for our summer challenge, and every year we do a bookmark contest. And we're doing it again this year. The theme for summer challenge is Unearth a Story. And if anyone is interested in submitting an entry, they can submit it by Tuesday, March 31st. A few other things, thank you to the St. Charles City County Library Foundation for supporting the purchase of Tony's and Yodo kits that are now in our system. Just a quick update of the Winter Reading Challenge Olympics. We set a new personal record with 3,559 registrations and far surpassed our completion goal of 1,000, finishing strong with 1,835 completions. So running really strong this year.
So while we aimed for a modest 5% increase, they soared over 51.7% increase over the program. And we continued, this is our second year working with Lindenwood University with the teacher education program. We work with the students to come in and do special story times with our children. And we're really proud that we're able to continue that relationship again this year. In February, we served over 1,200 patrons who came in for tax services. And there's some more information about America 250, about the year-long series, and I will let you guys read that. And then you can see that we have one new duration request. And then for upcoming events, on March 27th, as tied to America 250, we have Women of Independence. And then March 31st, once again, it's that bookmark contest entry through due. April 15th, we have an author event with Maria Simple. We have another author event with Kelly Gang on April 18th. And right between those two, we have the Foundation Annual Trivia Challenge that we encourage everyone to come out to. It's a big fundraiser for the foundation. And as a reminder, the library will be closed for Staff Development Day on April 24th. And then April 24th and through 26th, the MK branch, Middendorf-Cordell branch is closed to complete that electrical work that was outstanding. And you can see a few items that were in the media, but once again, as we always do, I'd like to end on this mission impact, one story at a time. And Becky wrote in and said, I just wanted to share that my 9-year-old son absolutely loves the book club that's offered for 3rd through 5th grade at KL branch. He's only attended 2 meetings so far, but he'll be going to every month he's able to. The first one he was nervous because it was something brand new for him, and he's pretty shy, and he didn't really know what to expect. He walked out afterwards and was quiet, but said he enjoyed it. The next month after the meeting, he walked out of the room with a pep in his step, a huge smile across his face, and talked about the different things they did and discussed all the way home. He is very much looking forward to March's meeting and has mentioned it to a couple of friends and hopes to have them join also. Thank you so much for starting the book club back up for that age group.
Thank you. Statistical report.
Around statistical report, key here is that we are pretty much on track on all our core benchmarks. Physical checkouts, digital checkouts are slightly lagging. Our overall checkouts are at 65%, which should be around 66% at this point, so slight lag in our overall checkouts. If you look at our gate count, website visits, social media followers, all of those well exceed our benchmark. And then our programming, our staff has been putting a lot of time into kind of rebuilding in that program. We set that goal of 5,000 programs this year. It really made a lot of our staff members kind of nervous whether we could actually truly achieve that goal. And year to date, they're at 3,706 programs. So a lot of times that they're in those interactions with our customers and meeting with those young families and kids and adults of all ages. Overall, we've had about 77,681 patrons attend our program, so they are well above the mark. So I just want to give that shout out to our staff that are working every day in our branches to make sure that high quality programs and programming that our patrons are seeing.
All right, the next item is correspondence. We have a bunch of different letters of correspondence from the City of St. Charles. We have 2 letters and 3 from the City of O'Fallon, all related to different developments and the tax abatement for those items. I wanted to go through just each one of these items just to so everybody's aware when reading through the documents how to ascertain what is actually affecting the library. And I'll get there in a second. I'm missing that perspective. All right, tax impacts. So the library will receive, would receive, without any building on the property. This is at, I think this is the Jackson, First Capital Place redevelopment. $400 in year 2028, just as an example. Yeah, I think
That's probably next
this
to
is,
the-
the property at First Capital and Fifth Street. Used to be a bank and is now vacant land.
It's at Fifth and Jackson.
Jackson. Got it, okay, in between there, sure, alright, let me get down to. So, they're saying over the course of, here we go, breaking out by the library, over the course of the entire, time frame would receive $8,000 if they did nothing to the property. With them building and this tax abatement program, we will receive $53,000 over the course of that entire timeline of the abatement. That's like 5%. See that? 30,000. Bills and everything. Right there. Okay. Just wanna make sure everybody's aware of that one. Are they doing two different pieces on this?
No, they delayed the public.
So that's the second letter, it's just the delay, delaying, providing. Okay.
It's 108 apartment ones.
Yes, they're doing 108 apartments associated to that parcel and abatement. The city of O'Fallon is a little bit different of a situation. The O'Fallon Playfield Commons, without abatement, over the course of 20 years, the library would receive $190,000. They are providing, they're not, I thought they were providing a pilot, they're not on that one. Okay. Yeah, that one just, okay. So once again, that's an example of tax dollars that are would normally be coming to us that we would not be receiving in that scenario. In terms of the project at 1150 Technology, LLC, or 1150 Technology LLC, that one is they're doing a pilot on that, so we are receiving a payment, a lump sum payment in lieu of the taxes over the course of 20 years. And that pilot that we'd be receiving, the payment is $55,834 to the library. So without abatement, if they didn't do any kind of tax abatement program on that, we would receive $111,000. So they're giving us essentially half of what we would receive without the tax abatement. And finally, on Veterans Memorial Parkway #1, the county library district would receive, without an abatement, $169,000 over the course of 20 years. We are receiving half of that in a payment in lieu of taxes. So in the pilot, we are receiving $84,703 on that one. So having said that, there are two that we are not receiving a pilot for. Is there should we continue our policy of sending the letter to the city in those scenarios, and the other two, are we okay?
I definitely think so.
Okay. Anything else? Any other? Yeah, go ahead, Keith.
Mr. Chairman, it struck me as I tried to flip the pages and process all this information. This apartment development proposal in the city of St. Charles is 108 units. Now, I don't know what that's gonna mean in terms of people who actually occupy those 108 units, but it probably means a number between at least 150 and maybe as many as 200 people. So I think we should assume that that's going to lead to some serious library users. And another reaction that I have to this is that we're in a situation where if I'm not mistaken, our dollar figure that we use for our tax rate cannot exceed now 1.6 some odd.
0.16, yeah.
So for them to ask us to accept no pilots for 0 years, when they're asking us to accept a fairly sizable, likely library members and users and so forth, I'm just wondering if there isn't some way for the district, and John, I just feel your pain, all these time-consuming issues. But I'm just wondering if there isn't some way to reach out and say, this really isn't fair to our taxpayers to ask us to accept nothing in the way of pilots for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then the tax rate is minimal.
Right.
Compared to where it probably ought to be.
Yeah.
And so forth. So it just seems to me that maybe the district on this one ought to do more than just say, we object. I think maybe if we have some degree of contact with the developers, staff and so forth, there are some arguments for us to make.
Yeah.
To give us those first 5 years, give us some amount.
Right. So we, as you'll remember, because there was the recent one there at 364 and Arena Parkway. That was another residential development in the city of St. Charles, substantial, way more than this, 108. That our letter began the discussion. So they did reach out and we started to do that communication. I think we can do the same thing here. Normally, we don't receive these letters in a timely fashion to mount a defense, if you will, against the city of proceeding forward. By the time we have our meetings and discussions, their public hearings have passed. Fortunately for this one, we have time on our side to make those communications. And so I think the plan here is kind of looking at the consensus around the room here, is to send those letters first, and then maybe we'll follow that up to talk with the Director of Administration at City of St. Charles and to continue that dialogue. Because there was dissension from the City Council on the 364 Arena Parkway project because of the abatement to other entities.
Well, and as board members, we get these packets and quite honestly, I don't wanna tell you I know as much about some of those later projects on our list here tonight as I know about this first one. But it just seems to me that we need to gauge each of these on their merits. And in this case, I think we have a valid point to make that there is some reason for you to recharacterize the tax payments and the pilots that you've structured for at least that first one in the city of St. Charles.
I appreciate those comments.
Thank you.
Anything else from the board on those?
Well, we can lobby each of these people individually. I mean, I can call the mayor.
Sure.
Just say, hey, you know, we're gonna show up, we're gonna have people at the meeting, cause we're not getting any money at all. Why would you even approve this without in lieu of payment? Not even, first of all, why does an apartment building in St. Charles City even need any tax dollars from anybody? I mean, they build them and people rent them before.
That's the big discussion is
high
that
end, and they're gonna be high
it's
end.
usually commercial. And the last two now are residential.
And they're high end.
Right.
It's not gonna be, I mean, the condos that they just built on Main Street, they're listed, they're like 1,700 square feet and they're $900,000.
Right.
I mean, it's like, that's not like a family moving in there who's just got a job in St. Charles.
Trustee Zucker.
The proposal that somebody suggested here went to the developer.
Mhm.
I can tell you that was an approach undertaken in Darden Prairie with the Prairie Encore development, Ryan and Feisey. The initial tax abatement proposal from the developer was generous to the developer. And the Wentzville School District appeared at a alderman meeting expressing their unhappiness. And one of the aldermen mediated a discussion between the school district and the developer and significantly modified the relief that the developer agreed to the benefit of the school district. So it is, I think, fruitful, potentially fruitful, to contact the developer as well as the city.
I just wanted to check on the school district side, because I want to say that they normally help school, fire, stuff like that.
Well, they have to help the fire. The fire department has a statutory right to claw back any tax abatement that the municipality agrees to. And, so I think you'll see in some of these spreadsheets, no reduction in the forecasted revenue for fire and ambulance.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Matthew, correct me on this one, if incorrect, I just wanted to clarify that they would be seeking 100% for the first 5 years, and then it would go to 50% for 5 years.
Yeah.
And for the last 10 years, it's 25%. So I think if the percentage of that first no pay pilot for 5 years, they're gonna say, well, we're offsetting that by providing a larger payment in lieu of taxes during the last 10.
Okay.
So I think our stronger argument
Right.
is that this is a residential development, which similar to our last letter, is that you're adding to our patron base, but yet at the same time pulling funds from this, as well as I think painting the argument that here's a property that is in, it's gonna develop. The argument that it's vacant ground and we're gonna continue to receive the base rate for the next 20 years is not as strong as you would have in another area of the county where maybe that's always gonna stay a vacant lot. Here's a lot that's highly valuable, it's gonna develop into something.
Right. Right.
And so I think if we can focus on the residential or what it could be,
It's
there's
not
always
like,
that.
it's not like a subdivision where they're gonna take, 3 years to build it out.
Right.
Buy lots, I mean, when this thing's built, they open it up, probably get filled, occupancy will probably be quick.
Right. Well, even as they're building it, I'm sure they're
Well,
taking.
they probably
things-
are,
yeah.
you're right. Yeah, they gotta sign on them.
Right. Okay, any other further questions related to those letters of communication?
And I can reach out to the city of St. Charles superintendent and to see if they have any concerns based on the same argument if they are writing a letter, and if so, maybe figuring out how our letter and their letter can mirror or complement each other. So I'll reach out to their superintendent.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda, we have minutes for approval from the February 17 work session regular meeting. Had a chance to review those, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes appear to have it, the ayes do have it, that motion passes. The next one we have is approval for purchases, the first item being snow, ice removal, and ice melt services for $68,500. Reading that right?
For what period of time are the services to be engaged?
Well, this is for 26, 27, 28, but this is just the 26 portion of that contract. This is a 3-year contract, but the 68,000 is just for the fiscal year 26.
All right, thank you.
Any further discussion?
Fiscal 26.
It says fiscal year 26, which would end in June, correct?
No, it will be through 27, since it's going to be a season, because it's snow removal, so.
Yeah, that's what, okay, so it's starting in June. through.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where it depends on the weather itself, so maybe more or less, that's not a fixed cost.
Okay.
They're not willing to take that risk.
Right, go ahead, Justin.
So that's a not to exceed number?
I don't have the.
Oh, I didn't bring the
There's not.
That,
I thought it was included.
I just included the amount that was included in this year's budget for that. I don't know what the total expended for this year
Yeah, I'm
has
sorry, I
been
don't
so
have it
far.
with me.
Sorry. Exceeded that.
Just for
No, we
information, just for informational purposes, this is not the format we usually receive these items in, is that correct? Okay,
We haven't done one for.
okay, okay, all right.
So just to be clear, this does not apply to the possibility of snow in the next 4 weeks.
Hopefully, it's gonna be 84 tomorrow,
Right.
I hope we're done.
It's 40 next week, so.
So basically how that's treated is it was bid so that you're looking at each location and what they're going to do, whether it's doing ice melt, whether it's actually having to deal with some type of ice situation, snow removal. So it went down to the detail of that and what that would be charged per trip, that type of thing, so. And this provider, we used to have 3 separate snow providers. This single provider will cover the entire district this time. So we have experience with them.
Any further information, discussion? I'll entertain a motion to approve the snow ice removal and ice melt services with Arrowhead Landscaping. Go ahead, trustee Zucker.
I move to table this proposition until next month. I'd like to see the statement of work.
Okay. We have a motion to table, is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, for any further discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, the motion is tabled until April. All right, next we have roof replacement at Corporate Parkway Branch in the amount of $240,000 with Shea Roofing the current budget is $240,000. The recommendation is to go with Shea Roofing for $186,881. Any further information on this one to provide to the trustees?
We can give you the end result. The RFP itself, just so you know, we work in conjunction with a consultant, which John is familiar with, our roof consultant.
They use Joe Maletti, similar to me.
So
Request for proposals, reviewed the bids, and made the recommendation. Through that process, it is also the low bidder, but he was satisfied with the product and quality of the company.
How many proposals were received?
We had five received, 15 was distributed to 15. We had 9 people show up to the mandatory site visit. And of that, I assume 5 responded with a bid.
All right.
And Shea Roofing is the low bid of those.
The next closest bid was $10,000 more.
So
Trustee Collier.
John, you have experience with Shea Roofing?
I have experience with our roof consultant. I do not have experience with Shea Roofing.
Okay.
Has the library contracted Shea on any other projects?
we have Barch. I think we've worked with Shea prior. I don't know if it's a repair, I don't know if it's a full replacement. So that consultant and my facilities manager, they work as far as, references, making sure that they're reputable.
A further question, what is the amount of change orders before that can be accepted before coming back to the board? Maybe like 10% of the contract amount, like if it doesn't have to come back to us or
Oh, to come,
back for us for
that's 10%.
10%, okay, yeah, alright.
I was just thinking, I'm sorry, we've never had that situation with roofing.
Yeah.
It's,
Yep, okay, just curious.
Well, and they were provided a spec sheet for
Yes.
everybody doing it the same way, right?
And that's the benefit of that consultant, who
Right.
has many years of experience as far as,
Yeah.
the technical details and what was acceptable, that type of thing. It was all vetted through.
They helped write the RFP.
Exactly, so they review the roof, or he reviews the roof and helps as far as developing the technical specifications for that.
Did they review the responses?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was trying to say, so they had a bid opening, and at that time, the consultant sat with my facilities manager and the purchasing manager, the group that does it, actually issues the bid, et cetera, and reviewed it. Because they have to make sure that the bids themselves are apples to apples.
Correct.
The materials requested are,
Same
and-
quality
Correct.
materials.
correct, because sometimes they will be disqualified for one or another reason.
That's fine. Yeah. Any further discussion on this item? I'll entertain a motion to approve the roof replacement at Corpway Parkway Branch with Shea Roofing Incorporated for an amount not to exceed $186,881.
So moved.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes appear to have it, the ayes do have it, motion is approved. Next, item on the agenda, under the formal agenda, is new business, agenda item 2626, fiscal year 2027 tax rate projection. Get it out.
So in April of each year, we're required to submit a projected tax rate, St. Charles County. It's non-binding. The board actually sets the tax rate in September. So the projected tax rate is based on preliminary assessed values, which I've included here. It is tax year 2026, so it's a non-reassessment year. So our current rate is the 0.1668 per $100. That, if you remember in September, we rolled back that minus 0.0003, just as a one-time recoupment for the clerical error. So technically, the rate would have been 0.1671. And based on my preliminary calculations with the tax values, I'm recommending that we project that currently. It does allow for conservative budgeting, and it's one of those items where we'll continue to look at as far as our pending legislation. And we can discuss that further as far as the budgeted tax revenues. So basically, as far as what we'll set the tax rate at, when it comes to the Prop RT that's coming up in April, what that requires is that we set the tax rate using the full assessed value of properties. But what it comes down to is that's an application process, so when an application is approved, in the end, it's like what we'll receive as far as the actual cash will differ from what the property tax rate, what we're assuming is going to generate. So that's an area where we'll see if Prop RT passes and what that means for our revenue. But to date, I've worked with John and we see what we think is the preliminary impact for fiscal '27 of both the senior tax freeze and the Prop RT, which in total and we worked in conjunction with the assessor from St. Charles County, which helped us out with as far as what that potential would be. So for fiscal '27, the senior tax freeze is about $135,000, and Prop RT if passed would be $444,000. So that first year would be roughly $580,000 combined as far as the hit we would take to revenue. So back to the agenda item. I am recommending that we set the projected tax rate at 0.1671 for $100.
All right, thank you for that information. Julie, is there any discussion or further questions from the board related to this? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to set the projected tax rate at 0.1671 per $100 valuation for fiscal year 2027.
So moved.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Item 2626 is approved. There is no need for further closed session, so with nothing being else on the agenda, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.